The demons are amongst us, Dante. They are enslaving mankind. The world is asleep, brainwashed, and helpless. We're fighting back. We're a small handful of freedom fighters. We are the last and only line of defense.
Defense? You got no chance.
We don't leave things to chance. We've accumulated vast intelligence on the demons and their collaborators. World leaders, bankers, pop stars. We can hit them where it hurts.
The first Devil May Cry was released by Capcom way back in 2001 for what is the now ancient PlayStation 2. It was originally meant to be a sequel for a Resident Evil game, but was considered such a radical departure from it that it became its own spin-off series. Due in large part to its success, it has spawned 3 sequels, and Part 4 launched on both current generation consoles. It was announced by Capcom they were rebooting the franchise. To do this, they enrolled Studio Ninja Theory. If you've never heard of them before, they're a British outfit who made the PlayStation exclusive Heavenly Sword, then went on to make the multi-platform Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Both were brilliant but flawed games, succeeding in excellent storytelling, but failing to fulfill the promise of their premise, often settling for simple gameplay systems. How did they go with reinventing Devil May Cry? If the internet reaction of the original fans was anything to go by, they sure didn't like Dante's new look, and it seemed like Ninja Theory were in for a rough time. But I thought it would be worth giving them the benefit of the doubt. So without further ado, let's find out what DMC, Devil May Cry, is all about. Dante, at the beginning of the game, is unaware of his past. Essentially a pleasure-seeking rebel, he seems blissfully ignorant of who he is and the war that is raging around him. He does, however, know that he is different, but doesn't quite know how. Dante not exactly being one for introspection, he seems content to party, drink, and fight. He's a badass, spouting, biting one-liners, and prepared for a fight at any time. His trusty sword Rebellion and his guns Ebony and Ivory are always at the ready.
He is undoubtedly a traitor and a terrorist. And I, for one, am not for the death penalty. So, there's one way to do it. Illegally shoot the son of a bitch. This is Bob Barbas, just doing God's work.
Dante, get out of there! You're in danger!
Who are you? What do you want?
You were careless. You left a trail.
With the help of his brother Virgil
This was your home.
and Witch Cat, his past is unlocked for him.
I don't remember it.
The son of the demon, demon father
Cat,
Sparta
open the
and
gateway.
an angel mother Eve. Their love resulted in their 2 children, who are known as Nephilim. They have the power to take down Mundus, a demon who rules over humanity,
And who the hell are
enslaving
you?
them with false media and an energy drink virility that promises weight loss and sexual potency. He is also the one responsible for their parents' murder. Together they will destroy Mundus' network and bring him out of hiding by sabotaging the various prongs of his empire to confront him once and for all. The places it takes them, specifically Dante, are something to behold and one of the great
Should
parts
you fail
of
to
this
comply,
game.
the collapse of the economy will be on your head. I will make sure that you are stripped of power, shamed, and hated. Is that clear enough for you? Well, Friday it is then. You have a good night, Mr. President.
What are you doing?
Our world and Limbo are very closely superpositioned. They collide in places causing what we call rifts. It's here, in the rifts, that we can create gateways to and from Limbo.
Doesn't smell too good. What's in the can?
A compound I created based on an old Wiccan recipe. Sea salt, shark oil, iron shavings, desiccated squirrel semen, wolf hair.
Good stuff.
Dante's fight takes him to a number of different places. There is the real world and that of Limbo. The world of Limbo resembles in large parts things we are familiar with, and then it distorts it, often making its traversal quite difficult. This opens the game up to a platforming style of play that is reminiscent of modern Prince of Persia games. As you can see from the videos, the designers have actually gone to some amazing lengths to demonstrate the craziness and warped characters of these worlds. It's at this point that we begin to see the first flaws in the game. Some of the platforming is hindered by unresponsive controls. On rare occasions I would miss a jump because I was not allowed to double jump or dash, or in doing so overrun the platform. It's not a big thing, but it can lead to some minor frustration.
Oh yeah!
Of course, Devil May Cry is known for its combat. A typical level might start with platforming, but you soon will be encountering demons to fight. The enemy design is varied, but probably a little bit generic and without character. This is of course of no great consequence because fighting them is such an absolute pleasure. You start the game initially with your swords and guns, but this soon changes as you discover both demon and angel weapons. Demon weapons are slow, unwieldy, but extremely powerful. They are great against shielded enemies, and more importantly against enemies glowing red. Angel weapons are the exact opposite, allowing light, fast attacks, and often requiring constant use to charge their power. They work well against large groups and enemies glowing in blue. There are a number of variations in each type of weapon, and an upgrade system which allows users to expand their experience. Using them always feels fresh throughout the game as it gradually introduces new weapons. It becomes more interesting even still when having to face enemies that require both angelic and demon weapons within the same group. Combat is ranked on how stylistic you are when taking out enemies, a quality I don't necessarily demonstrate in these videos. The more variety you show, the less you get hit, the more you change weapons and juggle between aerial and ground attacks, the more you're awarded with stylistic bonuses. The game, while quite solid up to this point, goes into overdrive about the midway mark. This starts when you break into the TV network and fight the news anchor. The video demonstrates how absolutely insane this boss battle becomes as you move into the actual head of the presenter and then become one of his actual stories. The use of the nightclub version of Limbo is also quite great. It eventually becomes a game show, and it looks like the equalizer of some fancy stereo. Lights actually pulse to the industrial soundtrack as you move throughout the level. This all moves the game beyond solid into something quite extraordinary. The whole second half of the game is excellent, with the exception of a plot twist that is telegraphed far too early. If that's not enough for you though, on a first playthrough, there are multiple difficulty levels where harder enemies are introduced earlier into the game. The placement of the original enemies is also changed too. At about 12 hours in length, and the possibility of multiple playthroughs, this is a decent value proposition.
Put a spin on this.
My personal view on the terrorists is that they are disgusting, degrading, ghastly, sleazy, purient, and generally nauseating. The worst of them is Dante. The whole world would benefit greatly by his non-existence.
I'm taking you off the air.
You think so? I wouldn't bet on it, you little shit.
Now what we have here is some truly shocking footage of the terrorist, known as Dante, at the Bellevue Pier recently. So what do we know about this Dante? Several people have now come forward, and investigators have...
So in closing, DMC Devil May Cry is truly something special. With fun, variety-filled combat, crazy level designs, and a well-told story, it is well worth your time and money. This is our first video review, and we've done, so please give us some helpful feedback in the comments below. Try not to be too nasty, or we may never come back. You can see some of our other content by visiting the website, which will be linked in the video notes. Until next time, thanks for watching.